Pre-dawn light barely touches Amelia's cabin. The silence broken only by the crackling of an old radio. Static fills the air, a stark contrast to the ghost of Liam's face haunting Amelia's waking thoughts. Amelia stirs, her eyes fluttering open in the dim light. The radio continues its harsh song, a lonely soundtrack to her solitude. Liam's memory lingers, a painful echo in the quiet cabin. The pre-dawn gloom deepens, mirroring the shadows in Amelia's heart. In her dim cabin, Amelia sits alone, the faint light of a radio dial painting long shadows across the rough walls. She stares into her coffee, the rising steam a ghostly echo of forgotten moments. The silence hangs heavy, broken only by the crackling of the radio. Her face is etched with a haunting mix of longing and solitude. Dawn breaks, painting the valley in soft hues as Amelia steps onto the cabin porch. She inhales deeply, the crisp morning air a stark contrast to the turmoil within. The rising sun casts long shadows, mirroring the lingering memories of Liam. A silent battle rages within her as she tries to banish his image from her mind. The valley awakens, but Amelia remains lost in thought, a solitary figure against the dawn. Sunlight streams into Amelia's cabin as she sits, absorbed in a self-help article on her phone. Her brow is furrowed in concentration as she reads the headline, "Understanding Attachment." Amelia sighs, a subtle gesture revealing her skepticism. She sighs, unconvinced. A narration fills the silence, highlighting Amelia's inner conflict. Inside Amelia's rustic cabin, sunlight streams through the window, casting a warm glow. A close-up reveals Amelia's phone, face up on a wooden table. The screen illuminates with a new text. The message reads, "Thinking of you." The simple text hangs in the air, pregnant with unspoken emotions. On the cabin porch, Amelia gazes at the valley, a weathered phone lighting her face. She dismisses the message on the screen, a subtle defiance in her eyes. A gentle breeze whispers through the trees, rustling leaves like secrets. The vast valley stretches before her, an endless expanse of possibility and solitude. Amelia clutches the phone tighter, a silent acknowledgement of the unseen forces at play. Weeks drift by in Amelia's cabin, each day a muted echo of the last. Amelia attempts to immerse herself in work, her brow furrowed in concentration. Yet, Liam's presence is a persistent, faint shadow in the corners of her mind, a lingering memory, an invisible guest in her solitary space. The cabin feels both a sanctuary and a constant reminder of what was. A fierce storm descends, wind howling and rain lashing Amelia's small wooden cabin, nestled among towering trees. Lightning flashes, briefly illuminating the isolated cabin against the overwhelming darkness. The deafening roar of a nearby tree crashing down shakes the ground, nature's raw power unleashed. The cabin stands defiant amidst the storm, a fragile beacon against the elements' fury. Inside the small cabin, Amelia's face contorts with frustration as she frantically tries to get a signal on her cell phone. The cell phone screen remains stubbornly blank, mocking her desperate attempts. Amelia paces the confines of the cabin, her anxiety growing with each failed attempt. The silence of the dead cell phone amplifies the isolation of Amelia's remote location. Torrential rain lashes Amelia's cabin, a dark silhouette against the stormy night. Headlights slice through the downpour. The roar of a truck engine shatters the storm's symphony as it approaches, a mechanical beast in the tempest. Tires churn through deep puddles, spraying arcs of water that reflect the harsh glare of the headlights. The truck rumbles into view, its massive form a stark contrast to the fragile cabin in the distance. Each splash is a violent punctuation mark in the story of the storm, echoing the turmoil within. The cabin awaits, vulnerable and isolated, as the truck bears down upon it through the stormy night. Under the tempestuous storm, Amelia's cabin is barely visible. Rain lashes down as Liam, in a slicker, steps out of his truck. The wind howls, a symphony of nature's fury. Amelia's eyes widen, an expression of utter disbelief etched on her face. The storm mirrors the turmoil of emotions. Liam moves toward the cabin, a figure against the storm. Wind howls and rain lashes as Liam and Amelia fight against the storm, their figures illuminated by stark headlights. They strain against the weight of a fallen tree, blocking their path under the torrential downpour. The truck's headlights cut through the darkness, casting long, distorted shadows that dance in the storm. Every muscle strains as they push, the elements a relentless adversary in the night. Inside Amelia's cabin, Liam and Amelia seek solace by the fireplace, the dancing flames casting long shadows. They huddle together, seeking warmth against the encroaching cold. Outside, the storm rages, its fury pounding against the fragile walls of the cabin. The windows rattle violently, as if the storm seeks entry. The wind howls through the trees, a mournful cry in the dark night. The fire crackles, a defiant beacon against the storm's relentless assault. Inside Amelia's cabin, a fireplace casts a warm glow, its light revealing the rough-hewn logs and dancing shadows. Liam sits hunched, his face a canvas of confusion and deep concern, etched by unseen worries in the firelight. He struggles with inner turmoil, the dancing flames mirroring the turmoil in his eyes. "I felt an inexplicable urge to check on the old logging road," Liam says, his voice hushed against the crackling fire. Rain violently assaults Amelia's cabin, each drop a stark echo of the storm brewing within. The kerosene lamp throws eerie shadows across the wooden walls, heightening the sense of unease. Liam shifts, his anxiety palpable as he avoids Amelia's knowing eyes, the silence amplifying the tension. "I had a dream, a vivid one." Liam starts, his voice a low tremor against the storm's fury. His gaze flickers nervously around the cabin, trapped by the intensity of his own vision. "It was of this cabin, Amelia, nestled right in the heart of a storm just like tonight," he finishes, haunted. Inside Amelia's dimly lit cabin, firelight casts long shadows that dance across the rough-hewn walls. Amelia watches Liam, his eyes reflecting the flickering flames, a silent intensity passing between them. The fire crackles softly, a stark contrast to the unspoken tension hanging in the air. Amelia studies Liam's face, searching for answers in his gaze. A mix of longing and apprehension flickers across her face. Lost in thought, Amelia's expression reveals a deep, unspoken yearning mirroring her own desires. Soft lamplight paints Amelia's cozy cabin, casting long shadows that dance with the quiet intimacy of the scene. Liam and Amelia sit, mugs of steaming tea between them, the warmth reflecting in their intent gazes. Hours dissolve into shared stories and hushed confessions, the cabin becoming a sanctuary of unspoken understanding. The air crackles with a palpable tension, a silent symphony of emotions weaving between them. A sense of connection fills the room. A silent observer notes, unseen yet ever present in the heart of the cabin. Each glance, each shared breath, deepens the mystery of their bond, leaving the audience to wonder what will happen. Dawn breaks over Amelia's cabin, painting the valley in hues of gold. The storm's fury has passed, leaving a pristine landscape in its wake. Soft light kisses the valley, revealing nature's serene beauty. The rising sun casts long shadows, signaling a new beginning. Dawn breaks, painting the sky as Liam prepares to depart from Amelia's cabin. With resolute movements, Liam gathers his belongings, a clear sense of purpose guiding him. From the doorway, Amelia watches him, her expression serene in the soft morning light. A gentle breeze whispers through the trees, carrying the earthy scent of pine. The quiet rustling of leaves complements the unspoken understanding between them. Liam pauses, a silent acknowledgement to Amelia before stepping into the dawn. The day is bright as we see the open road ahead. A lone truck appears in the distance, approaching the winding road. Liam's truck, a speck of hope, begins its descent down the twisting path. The truck navigates the curves, each turn a step further into the unknown. Dust swirling, Liam's truck disappears, swallowed by the road's embrace. Inside Amelia's silent cabin, she stands motionless by the window, her silhouette framed against the daylight. Her gaze is fixed on the empty, sun-drenched road, a silent vigil marking her solitude. The quiet tension of waiting hangs heavy in the air, amplifying the unspoken anticipation. The road remains deserted, mirroring the emptiness and longing reflected in Amelia's eyes. Sunlight streams into Amelia's cabin, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Amelia's fingers gently grasp the worn edges of the self-help article. She scans the lines, her brow furrowed in concentration. A flicker of realization crosses her face, a new understanding taking root. Hope blossoms in Amelia's eyes as she absorbs the article's message. On the cabin porch, Amelia breathes deeply, the crisp air filling her lungs, a sense of peace washing over her. Sunlight warms her face as she sits, tranquil and reflective, lost in thought. A serene smile graces her lips, hinting at a newfound understanding. The gentle breeze whispers through the trees, carrying away the last remnants of her worries. Her eyes sparkle with clarity, a silent acknowledgement of the lesson learned. Golden light bathes the valley as the sun begins its descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Amelia stands silhouetted against the vibrant horizon, a solitary figure amidst the vast landscape. The wind whispers through the tall grass, carrying the scent of earth and the promise of twilight. Her gaze is fixed on the setting sun, a quiet resolve settling in her eyes as destiny calls. Shadows lengthen across the valley floor, mirroring the growing certainty within Amelia's heart. The last rays of sunlight kiss her face, a fleeting moment of peace before the night descends. Inside Amelia's dim cabin, her hand hovers near the radio, the only source of light reflecting off her weary face. With a decisive click, Amelia silences the crackling static, plunging the cabin into a heavy, suffocating silence. Her eyes drift shut as the weight of her decision settles upon her shoulders. A solitary tear escapes, tracing a shimmering path down her weathered cheek in the dim light. The tear reflects the faint glow, a beacon in the darkness of her solitude. Amelia embraces the quiet, knowing with a heavy heart that it is time to finally let go.